I'm Raymond. You're watching RPadTV. And look, it is a full house today. We won't be doing any promos later, so please check out the Turtle Beach products that Mac works on. Check out Paul's excellent website and check out Carlos's wonderful podcast. There are direct links in the Facebook and YouTube's descriptions. I almost said subscriptions. At least I didn't say prescriptions. But today we're going to talk about Peacemaker Season 2. On the top left is Mac Marshall. He is Vigilante Mac today. Ask him about owls and manta rays.
I know everything there is to know about owls.
On the top right is Paul Semel, who is, are you cold today? What's with the long sleeves?
It's cold in LA and it's always cold in my apartment. So
it is weird. The weather here just like switched yesterday from like totally fine to actually
it
being
did.
chilly.
Same
Yeah.
here. Like 2 nights ago in Vegas, I'm used to it being in the 80s at night, but then all of a sudden it was 64. I'm like, it's like goddamn Antarctica now.
Yeah, it just turned on like literally in the past 24 hours. Is weird.
it was the rain. We were fine, and then it rained, and now we're cold.
After the rain, like that Nelson
After the
song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on the bottom left, we have Carlos, the host of the excellent Revisiting the Mania podcast, who will have a very special guest in the near future. So keep
That
your eye
Jesus?
on that. No, he's busy taking the wheel. So let's kick things off in our customary RPadTV style Blue Sky interviews. Paul, kick this one off. Give us a bite-sized review of Peacemaker Season 2.
You really picked the wrong person to start this. While it got better momentarily towards the end, the second season of Peacemaker was far less interesting than the first and a lot more annoying and boring, which is why if I didn't think we were making this video, I would have quit after episode 3. Actually, I probably would have quit in the middle of episode 3, which is when I started thinking that I wanted to quit. But
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Carlos, on the other hand, was way more positive. What did you have to say?
Yeah, I said this season of Peacemaker leveled up with Tim Meadows and Saul Rodriguez, while John Cena proved he's the best wrestler turned actor.
Yes.
Even the quirky intro song grows on you. The series didn't just meet my expectations, it smashed them.
Hulk smashed them. How about you, Mac? What did you think?
I'm more in Paul's camp. Like I wanted so much more from that season, and it was anticlimactic to me. It just kind of just was like a slow roll towards a boring ending.
See, I'm closer to Carlos. I said I mostly loved Peacemaker Season 2. The writing was hilarious. The acting was far beyond what I was expecting, and Foxy Shazam rules. That said, the finale was disappointing when it pulled focus from the 11th Street kids and really became almost gratuitously so, setting up the rest of James Gunn's DCU.
And maybe I didn't understand the ending, and right? Like, I don't know, but like to me, just the ending just didn't do it for me.
I think a lot of people felt that way. I would say all of us probably felt that way. We'll delve more into that when we speak about the finale later. But interestingly, if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, the finale was by far the lowest rated Peacemaker episode ever. So apparently a lot of people didn't like it. But before we get to the finale, let's talk about the new intro sequence. I wanted to have Carlos address this one first, because I remember after episode 1, Carlos said, I wish they didn't change the song. And in my head, I'm like, I think you're going to change your mind as the show goes on.
And you were right, sir.
So,
I didn't like it.
Explain how you felt.
That's why I put it in my review.
Explain how you felt in the beginning and how it grew and why it grew on you.
I'm not sure why. I think it's just like some type of correlation. Like I have to listen to this song to get to another episode of Peacemaker, and that's been good so far. So it just like eventually just like, okay. Even when you started giving me the option to skip, I think like in episode 3 or 4, I still just watched the sequence too, just because they were starting to sandwich it. Like they'd have like the cold open type of
Right.
thing, and then they'd have the dance intro song. So I sometimes when you push it, you might miss something towards the end of that scene, or you might miss the beginning of a scene just even by a little bit. So I was like, I'll just watch it. And I think I had the same issues with the first season where I didn't like it, just having a song and then having that dance, and it's weird to me because I know you, Raymond, are more musically, like you've been to musicals, you've seen musicals, you grew up more in like watching that type of stuff, type of things, and to me I'm getting used to it, but sometimes I don't like watching musicals. I don't like, if it's even with the Disney movies from growing up, if they started singing, I just bailed. So
That's so funny. You sound exactly like my sister-in-law, who really loathes musicals, but yeah.
I never actually even heard that song before.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
And like, to be fair, I didn't like it until more recently. And I didn't know anything about like the opening sequences were like slightly different. I never noticed that.
Yes.
When you told me, I was like, I gotta go back and check this out. And sure enough, they're just a little.
Yeah, usually about 3 seconds different from each other.
But I do find myself now walking around my house humming the theme song to Peacemaker.
Paul, how did you feel about the new intro? And did you like the old intro?
I like the old intro, and I like this one about the same. They were kind of the same, really. I mean, you have this super catchy song and this weird dancing and whatever. I think the only reason I didn't appreciate the new one as much as the old one is because I've already seen the old one. You know, it's been done. Like, it's like the first time you eat an Oreo, you're like, oh my God, this is the most amazing cookie I've ever had. But by the time you get to like the fifth one, you're like, that's an Oreo.
Right. I can see that, because the first time it was just shocking seeing these characters like completely stone-faced doing this ridiculous dance.
Yeah.
I always have a good crack up when they pan past the alien just doing the running man.
Yeah.
The background.
Yeah.
That gets me every time. And I always watch the opening just for that.
And it changed because when I first, maybe the first 4 or 5 episodes, when we see the old lady before we meet Vigilante's mom, it doesn't hit until after we meet her and we see how terrible, how sweet she is and how terrible he is to her.
Yeah.
Like some of that cracks me up. But
I have a question for you guys though.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 1,000, how shocked were you when you saw the guy singing the song and you were like, he's a skinny white guy and not like a big black lady with like a history of gospel church singing? Like,
yeah, it was a woman. Oh, I didn't.
The voice does not match the body at all.
Even like earlier today when Raymond asked us to watch the original music video, I was like, that's not the same person. That can't. This is like lip sync. This is like some kind of weird Milli Vanilli thing.
So am I the only one that knew the band before this?
Yes, you're the only one that knew the band before this.
Okay.
Yeah, no idea.
I mean, I was expecting like some Patti LaBelle looking woman.
So it's like the what's his face? Never Gonna Give You Up. What's his name? Rick Astley. A lot of people thought that he was a black man because of his voice.
Oh, because I could see that.
Yeah. But yeah, I love season 2's intro way better for a few reasons. I mean, partially is what Mac was discussing, is that James Gunn made each intro sequence very, very slightly different from each other. Like staying focused on one character for 2 seconds longer because that character would get more emphasis in that episode. Some of the choreo is the same as the original video. And I love the song. It's so weird and unusual. You know, you have the frontman, Eric Nally, who in my head, and I mean this respectfully because I like Eric Nally a lot, but in my head, do you remember how like old photocopiers, they would get like worse and worse each time you made a copy? So in my head, he's like the 50th copy of Freddie Mercury. So
Okay.
that's what Eric Nally is to me, and I mean that in the nicest way possible.
It's like
I
a
think
clone of a
Freddie-
clone of a clone of a clone is always
Yes.
slightly different.
Because I think Freddie Mercury is the best frontman that ever existed. So of course nobody can measure up to that. The song itself, it's just so you got the heavy distorted guitar, you have the trumpet in the intro, you have the delicate piano, and then the booming drums and bass.
Yeah, but the piano player is getting sexual, like the entire music video.
He is humping the piano. Yes,
He's
this is
getting-
true.
And the camera. Like there's a lot of like unnecessary direct eye contact with specifically with the piano player as you go through that video.
They're a weird band. But yeah, and Eric Nally actually made a very brief cameo in the Superman movie. I mean, he has the weird mustache and nobody else dresses like that in the Superman world. Let's talk about broad terms. Mac, what did you like best about Peacemaker season 2?
I think honestly we got enough more of Vigilante for me to be happy. Right. I think that was cool. And then I love, as weird as it might seem, I love the addition of Tim Meadows. He brought such a different balance to like how some of the comedy in the scenes just played out. Just because his delivery is always so spot on and perfect and not what you expect. So I thought like every scene that he was in was just more watchable and more interesting because you're kind of waiting to see what he's going to say because you know it's not going to be normal or good.
Yeah. And I did not know Tim Meadows had this gear in him. I've always found him funny. I like the perspective sketch on SNL.
Yeah, it's like he's having a second wind or something. It's strange.
But some of the things he says, it's the perfect amount of humor and seriousness. Like when he screams, "You almost got titties killed!" Like it's delivered so perfectly. And then
I feel like that's the next RPadTV t-shirt.
I love the by the end that even Harcourt was calling her titties.
Yeah. Sticks.
Paul, what did you like best? Even though it seems clear out of the four of us, you like this series the least.
Right. Well, I agree with the Tim Meadows. I've always appreciated him. Always thought he was very funny. Although I got to tell you, I tried to watch his new sitcom, which is called DMV on CBS.
Oh yeah.
And especially after watching him in Peacemaker, where he was just unhinged, that show was just bland.
Trash.
I was like, ugh. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
But the other thing that jumped out at me was Screaming Spider Skull Planet.
Okay.
There's like that specifically, but that sequence where they're like opening all the different doors and going and looking at the different planets and you know they go to the one planet and at first it looks like Candyland,
right?
And then they get attacked by these little creatures. Like that that whole sequence was very, very entertaining. Like you know they open another one and like there's
reminded me of the movie Mom and Dad Save the Universe.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a scene where they like are in a cave and they come across this cute little cave creature. It looks like a mushroom from Super Mario Brothers. And then they're all teeth and like sadistic and just like crazy. So it was just it reminded me immediately of that scene.
Yeah. But I just love when they open the door and it's like a heavy metal like album cover of like a screaming spider skull. And they literally are just like, nope.
That was funny.
You know.
Right. And Carlos, what was your favorite aspect of season 2?
Just like what Paul just touched on, like the way it handled traveling to parallel universes. I think pretty much made it easy to follow. We sometimes get the introduction of being able to travel to parallel universes from shows that is just random and you never control where you're going. Like in Sliders or
I do love how low rent Argus's approach to exploring all the doorways is. It's like they're not using any real tech. It's just like 2 or 3 people with a rope, hope for the best. Right? Like there's no machines to pull people back in case something goes wrong. It just is like very like poorly thought out.
Yeah, so we didn't get in like any like type of complication, science things. Because that wasn't really like the main focus of what this was. Sure, it does take place in another Earth, But I like that part, just to touch on that. But also like that we have a superhero like Peacemaker not only like dealing with the fallout of what happened in the last season, but he's also trying to come to terms with his mental health, and not only him but other characters
Right.
on the show. So I like that it's not like normal superhero. Like we'll just say, for example, like the Flash on CW, like something tragic happens one week, and then like the next week it's on to another episode, and that's
Right.
that. Whatever happened last episode or last season is never discussed ever
It almost
again.
feels
So,
like, to your point, Carlos, that they're like taking a nod from like what Invincible does and like makes the characters deal with all the aftermath of their actions.
Right. And even adding to Carlos's point about struggles, we're getting a lot of that not only in Peacemaker but in Gen V season 2,
Yeah.
where all of them are just traumatized and fucked up, dealing with either bulimia, self-harm, self-esteem issues, and typical college things for sure for a lot of us. But it just seems that we're in this era of flawed superheroes, which I like, because I think it makes them more interesting. But yeah, season 2 gave me a lot more of what I love about James Gunn. I love his style of humor, his style of writing, his use of music, which sometimes it can be excessive. And there was only one song I disliked from this season, but the rest, I really enjoyed.
I do too. I find that like with James Gunn stuff, like I'll go back and I'll look at the movies that I own or anything that I want to just go like quickly like watch on like demand somewhere. And like anything with good music, like I start to look for like, oh, what has like awesome soundtrack? And it's always like the James Gunn movies kind of pop in there. And like, okay, I could sit down and watch some Guardians. I could do this, or whatever the case is.
Yeah. And I like how personal his writing is, that a lot of what he's writing about in the last few years has been, allegories to getting fired by Marvel and getting redemption from DC and Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
That scene in, I believe it was episode 7. No, it was the finale, where Leota tells Peacemaker, is like, you're big and you're stupid, but I feel loved when I'm around you. James Gunn said, that's very much how he felt about his father. And he cries when he's talking about that scene. And it made me wonder. I love that scene where Kia and Leota are breaking up, but it made me wonder if that was like his breakup with what's her name from The Office, if there was any similarities to that when they were Jenna Fisher, when they were married. Like maybe they just weren't compatible on that kind of level and they had to let each other go. I almost suspect that there is, just because he seems to put so much of his personal life into his writing, at least recently. Now let's take a walk on the dark side, Paul, since you are the negative nanny here. What did you dislike?
Negative nanny?
Yes. That's your,
not even a Nancy.
What is
your
that, like
name?
the person you hire to take care of your kid when they wanted to grow up as a cop?
He's got a stand-in nanny for you.
Is that what Gomez hired to take care of?
No, it could be. I mean, it does seem like they're setting up dark side. They have Granny Goodness there, so you could be negative nanny, be Granny Goodness's apprentice. Yeah. But yes, as the person who liked this series the least, what did you hate the most about this series, Paul?
So there was one thing that I think made this show annoying for me, and then one other thing I just didn't like, although it didn't really ruin it per se. And the first one was, I found that a lot of people that either their shtick ran thin with me, and also that a lot of the people who were kind of pathetic in the first season were even more so, but in a more annoying way. Ooh. Like the big two being Adrian, who I just found really annoying this season, like even more so than last.
He's
and Economos.
Okay.
I know he's supposed to be, but like
Economist, I totally agree with that one.
Like Economos, like I was just like, how fucking sad is this? Like, it just got to the point where I was like no, and it just got really, really annoying. I mean, And also Peacemaker, to a certain extent, he was more annoying this season. I mean, look, with Peacemaker, like, he was the least interesting character of the major characters in the Suicide Squad movies. And then they give him his own show, and it's like, it worked fine for the first season, but this season I just wanted to slap the shit out of him like half the time.
I mean,
like,
that analogy can be said about Cassian Andor too, and you're also wrong about that series. So,
yes, well, we know that. The other thing that I didn't like, although I wouldn't say it ruined things for me nearly as much, is I didn't like some of the retconning that they did, and how so much of the season seemed like it was trying to justify the retconning. Because one of the things that I've said this before, and I will probably have to say it again, is I really just wish they had started over. They made a clean break, that they didn't try to do this half-assed retconning of like, oh, well, some of this still counts and some of it doesn't count, even though like the same people are in it doing the same things, and we reference things. Like, it's like, no, just start over.
well, that's based on his negative experience at Marvel, where he was basically forced to do a post-credit scene with Adam Warlock to set him up in the next movie, and he never really wanted to do anything with that character, but he was kind of trapped, which is why in his post-credit scenes from this, they're all inconsequential. They're pretty much gag
They're making
reels.
fun of Jared Leto in 30 Seconds to Mars. And...
Okay, that's funny. Yeah. How about you, Carlos? What did you dislike about Peacemaker season 2?
I didn't dislike too many things as far as like the story. I do wish that we would have got an answer of what type of alien we saw.
Oh, which one? The one that gives him the whatever.
Yeah,
the
one
suitcase?
that's up in the garbage.
Oh,
And-
the
the one
xenomorph.
that was burning rats.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, is it? I started thinking it was that alien from Young Justice, the cord, whatever
Yes.
the name is.
Those
I
guys.
love that they never explain that.
But they're like, I think
Part of
they're
me that
supposed
hates
to
that
be
they never explain
smaller.
it, but I also love that they never explain it.
Yeah. So that, and then I kind of understand what maybe the reason why they might have left it out, but when we end up being like the big reveal of what Earth Peacemaker's on, and we do see a glimpse of the Sons of Liberty, but I would have, and I don't remember seeing any people of color in the Sons of Liberty.
Right.
I understand that they're doing like some type of like terrorist, from the point of view of the general population that inhabit that world. But I think to me, it would have been nice to have seen people of color fighting for their freedom there.
Yeah. But I mean, on a
And
practical
then
level,
I think it would have made the choice a little. Yeah,
they would have to be.
That's-
They would have to be in the background doing support or something, because they couldn't be out in the field. Otherwise, it would be too obvious and people would freak out.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, my big problem was really the finale, which to me had some of the best parts and some of the worst parts in the series. I did not like what they did with Rick Flag towards the end. Like, how did he go? I don't understand his jump from, how he was in Creature Commandos and Superman to all of a sudden, like, partying with Luthor's crew while his employees are getting killed in other dimensions.
Yeah,
So
it's weird.
that seemed weird. And I didn't like how it's set up, Superman and the rest of the plans for the DCU, instead of focusing on the 11th Street kids. Like James Gunn said in the original draft, the end of the series was supposed to be that scene when they're walking out of the Checkmate office all happy and smiley that they're building something new. Then Eagly flies over. And I would have been totally happy with that. I think the scene with Peacemaker in Salvation, I think that would have been better served in a post-credit for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I just didn't like how, I don't know, it seems kind of forced.
It seems like they were, like you said, I think Paul said the same thing. It's like they spent too much time focusing on trying to tie into Superman and other properties than they did trying to actually like close out Peacemaker season 2.
Yeah. And I think some setting up Checkmate would have been, a nice, Cap. You give them a closure that they accomplished something, but also you gave them room to go somewhere new with Checkmate. I'm also a fan of Checkmate in the comics, so I would have preferred that ending as well. I mean, Mac, is there anything you didn't like about the series?
I think that was it. What I kind of just said was like, I wish they spent more time on like whatever amount of time they spent on trying to like tie into the rest of the DC. Like I wish they just would have said and stayed the course and made the season about developing Peacemaker and those characters.
Yeah. I think that made the show a lot weaker the more they pulled focus out and tried to make it about the broader DCU.
And ironically, I just rewatched Superman the other day too, so it's interesting, but it's unnecessary in Peacemaker.
For sure. Let's talk about characters for the next few questions. And these are kind of broad, but I think your interpretation of these characters will kind of reflect how you felt about this series. So let's talk about MVP. Who do you think was the most valuable player on the show? I'm going to go with Danielle Brooks as Leota Adebayo. And I mean this both in terms of her performance, but also her character in the show. She's kind of like the glue for the 11th Street kids.
Yeah.
That she keeps them all together, and
there's
almost at the expense of her problems, though. So.
Yeah, there's a scene towards the end in like the finale where they're all in the room and like there's kind of like and Peacemaker starts to flip the fuck out and scream and yell, and Adebayo grabs her chair.
Yeah,
she like pulls it up and gets right in his face and like won't back out at all. And I thought that was like super cool and moving.
Absolutely. I mean, that and the scene where she breaks up with Kia, I thought she crushed both of those scenes. And I'm like, oh, this is why you're an Academy Award nominated person. So I never saw her in The Color Purple. So I don't know how she did it. I remember her as Tasty. Was that her character in Orange is the New Black? She was fantastic in that role. But yeah, I'm not too familiar with her other works. Mac, who is your MVP? I mean, I know you're a big Vig guy.
I have two. So obviously Vigilante, if nothing else, he's the dude that got the job done when they needed to go bring Peacemaker down. And that scene, I like laughed out loud because they're all trying to be nice. And he just walks up in his fucking full suit and tases him in the back and like starts beating him up. That was absolutely brilliant. And then the other one was Judo Master, man. Just
love Judo Master.
And I think like, you jump into season 2 and you want so much more of just the ire between him and everybody else. And they don't give it to you. And instead they serve you up this like total like kind of twist with him where he's absolutely like redeems himself and kind of becomes somebody you would want to hang out with and wouldn't mind having on your team.
I want to play Scrabble with him. I'm totally down.
But yeah, like I thought that was such a cool spin for him. And even though like I still felt like his character development throughout the whole rest of the series wasn't enough because I wanted more of him. That one bit was enough to put him in that category of he was a favorite for me for the season.
I love the contrast between when he reminded Economos of when he beat the crap out of him, and when he talks to Leota about, there's like, remember that time you tased me like 1,000 times?
Yeah.
And she just says sorry, and he's like, eh. So it's almost like, because he says his character is Buddhist, so that kind of fits in with. That's all he wanted. He just.
I love that he's just always eating like flaming hot Cheetos, everything too, like while he's talking.
But Cheetos with an
a fun character
are not the same. Yeah, I love the little touches. Like he's always wearing the mask, even when he's like tailing them in the car or when he's in the hazmat suit. He always has the mask on. It's just really silly. Carlos, who's your MVP?
You guys are probably never gonna see this coming, but I'm gonna go with Economos.
Okay.
So Economos to me was like we started off the season with him. He's pretty much taking over like the field observations of seeing Chris and Peacemaker. So and he's like sabotaging things here and there. so they can go ahead and he can cover up for him, or he'll let like Adebayo know or Hardcore know. And he did a lot of things that he really didn't want to do. Like
Yeah.
he didn't want to report that Peacemaker got arrested and put that book out there. So they have no choice but to actually process him like an actual criminal and get him out because now he's in the records and they'll have to do that. He didn't want to go out there and go and take care of Eagly, and he actually is, and he got like a half hug
Yeah.
from Eagly at the end. So
Wasn't he like clipping
That's so
Eagly's nails? He was like, and I think that's so important because it shows that Eagly has someone to take care of him while Peacemaker's off on salvation.
Yeah. So I think that it seemed like, as reluctant that he wanted to be out there in the field and actually get involved, he eventually stepped up and got involved because he saw that he had no choice. So that's how I feel he was my MVP.
Excellent. We have some comments from the gallery. Sanov says Chris is his MVP so far, but he couldn't finish the last 3 episodes of Peacemaker.
Not too late to change your mind.
Johan says no one was choosing Eagly as their number 1.
In a certain episode, you kind of have to, in like episode 2 or 3 or whatever.
When he kicks everyone's ass.
That's fucking hilarious. But
was
beyond that, he's just a bit player. So
I was fine with him until those texts came out where he's praising Hitler and
Johan says Tim Meadows' character stood out for him this season. Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We will talk more about Tim Meadows in a bit. Carlos, I was going to throw to you on this one, but because of your last answer, I'm going to continue with our appreciation for John Economos, because to me, I found him really entertaining. Some people thought there was too much of him, and they felt that he was getting so many lines because he's really close with James Gunn, but I found him to be one of the most
watchable character, though.
I found him so relatable because, as he said, he is famously an enormous pussy. So I related to him in terms of being a coward, but he's not a coward in the way that Shaggy and Scooby-Doo are, where they were just bitches. Like he's a curmudgeonly coward that talks back and full of sarcasm and
attitude.
He's got attitude. So I'm like, I like this guy. If I was 6'6" and white, I would be Steve Agee. So I found him really entertaining. I love that scene in, I think it's episode 3, where they go, it's the walk and talk from the hospital to the van with Judo Master, where he meets Red Saint Cloud or Red Saint Wild. Is that his name?
Red Saint Cloud,
by Michael Rooker. But that whole scene I just found completely well done. I loved every character in that scene, especially Steve Agee as Economos. So for me, I just found him the most entertaining character, which in season 1 for me was Vigilante by far, but Economos took it for me in season 2. Now back to you, Carlos. Who did you find most entertaining in S2?
Red Saint Wild.
Red Saint Wild, yes.
Yes. Is the one that I found to be very entertaining to me. Like it was
I love
maybe
Rooker.
2.5 episode span, and once you got to know him, and he comes off like they called him out like he was a Yosemite Sam type of guy out there, but it turns out that he was very in tune with himself and with nature and with the Native American ways. And he did have a third eye after all, but just to see him going out there, he's eating the eagle poop and he's telling you what he ate.
He had caviar.
Yeah. And that whole thing. And even after, if you watch the post-credit scenes that they threw out a few episodes, that whole thing that he goes through, he had cold cuts, he had this, he had, I was like, that was for him to be able to get through that. I know it probably took a lot of takes, but just having him run off with all those random food items and him getting almost completely naked and then doing the
Carl,
dance so he
Dead.
could see where Eagly was.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean, between his dance and this and
Yeah.
showing his bare ass in Mallrats, we've seen a lot of
I just
Michael
watched
Rooker's
Mallrats the other
naked
day. I
body.
was just gonna say that. I just saw him in Mallrats and I was cracking up at that.
Well, I mean, that movie alone cemented
Yeah.
Rooker as a hero to me. And
Oh yeah.
you know, of course, he was great as Yondu. He's great in this. So many. I love Michael Rooker.
Days
But-
of Thunder.
yeah, so that was my most entertaining character of this season.
Paul, I know you weren't greatly entertained, but who was the most entertaining character for you? Are you not entertained?
I'm going to go back to Danielle Brooks, who was the only person in the whole cast that I would have wanted to hang out with. I mean, everybody else is just so annoying. I
think
I
she'd be
normally
the best
like
friend,
Jennifer
too.
Holland. I thought she was really good, but she was certainly not somebody I would want to hang out with like this season. Like she was just, you know,
You get beat
out
up.
of it.
She's pretty angry.
yeah, she'd probably kick the shit out of me, which I'd probably deserve, but that's okay. But yeah, Danielle Brooks was the one of the normal gang that she's just so good, so natural, so likable.
Yeah.
You know,
Seems like
you
a good
mentioned-
hang.
yeah, like you mentioned, like other things she's been in. She was really good in the Minecraft movie, which I
Oh yeah.
couldn't even
Mhm.
finish because it was like one big inside joke that I wasn't privy to. But yeah, and you're right. Like that scene where her and her wife have to break up, that was just like,
That was
wow,
so good.
that was just
so good.
wrenching to watch.
And I didn't expect that level of acting in this series at all.
Yeah,
So
not at
it
all.
really threw me off. I'm like, what? I was like, what the hell's happening right now? Why are they
Yeah, I mean,
why are they acting like instead of doing silly superhero shit? But yeah,
she's got
I
some
think-
range because she goes from there to also figuring when she puts out her ad for her detective agency, and then they get the phone. She gets the phone call for her first
What's
gig.
Greek? Oh, that's a great Adrian scene too. It's like you were having a prostitute conversation. I love that. Yeah, I love how she's the glue. She's a good hang. I forget. Did you say that, Mac, or did you, Carlos?
Yeah, I just feel like she'd be a good
No,
somebody
no.
like you would go out with and just like you said the text every like good hang. Like that was awesome.
Yeah. But I also think she would be the most supportive friend out of all of them. Like,
You could tell, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
so I definitely find that. And yeah, now we are going to talk about, I mean, this is almost isn't fair, but let's talk about the new cast members. Mac, who was your favorite new cast member, and why was it Tim Meadows?
I think it's Tim Meadows, and I just think, like I said, there was season 1 of the show set such a good like everything for what to expect for season 2. Like I was really excited for season 2, and when Tim Meadows showed up, I thought it was like a total curveball, and I didn't know what to expect. But like every scene he's in, he's just awkward enough and just says the perfectly off color or unexpected thing every time, and he just made every single scene more watchable, you know.
Yeah, I loved his performance and the way he delivered some really ridiculous, like the whole bird blindness thing. There are so many
I died with
bad
bird blindness.
ways
Like
you could play that, but he's
Yeah.
like using my own disability against me. Like he says it with enough angst, but it's so silly. But he makes it funny and
he
believable.
makes it real.
But
So
it's
I
interesting.
thought that was funny.
It was interesting when you said you wasn't sure what to expect, because I felt similar when they announced that he was in The Mandalorian, and he ended up kind of being a nothing character in that. So I
Meadows
wasn't. Yeah,
Mandalorian?
yeah, he
Oh.
was just like some imperial bureaucrat.
Okay, yeah, I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember him. But yeah, like it's just a because again, I think we also somebody said earlier, like we're all kind of familiar with Tim Meadows' comedy before all this, but like the last season of Peacemaker just had so much to it, and it ended on such a big kind of moment, and I didn't know how Tim Meadows, as any character, was going to fit into the season, but he did, and it didn't feel forced, and I just thought he brought like a layer to the show that we didn't get in the first season.
Well, it's almost the way Gunn explained it is because Chris turned into a nicer, better version of himself. They needed some antagonist. Yes. So the first half of the season, that was his role, Flurry's role. But even then, when he goes to Economos, it's good that you did that when he booked Peacemaker in the system.
Yeah.
And I love that he ended up being part of
redeemable also.
Yeah.
Redeemable asshole.
And the nicknames.
Yeah.
Was it Mexicali, Ponyboy, Titties, and who was the other one? There was one more. Encino Man.
Encino Man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then I love how Ponyboy became Cupid Doll at the end. And even when he was giving Cupid Doll shit, he was genuinely disappointed when he got his face eaten off by interdimensional imps. So he does care about his people. But yeah, for me, it's
a way to go, though, right? Like,
yeah, after telling us getting called out for throwing up on a stripper, you get your face eaten off by an imp. Ouch. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that level of violence in this.
I thought that was hilarious.
Carlos, I suspect you might have a different answer than Mac. Who is your favorite new cast member?
It was Tim Meadows.
Like, okay, I was wrong.
Next
no. I've been watching Tim Meadows, for a long time, like we mentioned, Saturday Night Live, but most recently because he was, they had that sitcom, The Goldbergs, and he was the vice principal, and then he took over as the principal there. So been used to like his serious comedy. Yeah, it's just like kind of like the Wonder Years, only more on the comedic side, and some kid in the 80s who's a producer now in like Hollywood called Adam Goldberg.
Oh yeah,
just does his whole thing of recreating his he used to take home videos, so he just recreates what he recorded and made them into episodes and things like that. Does he
do gratuitous voiceovers like Daniel Stern did in the Wonder Years? Or
yeah,
okay,
yeah. So he was there, and they almost greenlit a pilot with Tim Meadows from like a spinoff from that show, but it didn't do so well when they tried to do like 5 or 6 episodes during sweeps weeks. But yeah, I was like, I was really excited to see him, and I know that we would need some type of comedic relief because that's what we're used to. That's what the show has accustomed us to expect since season 1, and since Chris was going to be more of a serious guy because he saved the planet or saved the world and things like that, we weren't going to get Vigilante because Argus wasn't going to get him. So we needed someone in there to be the funny man to Economos' straight man type of thing.
Or even just being a prick to him with the whole ginger cool thing.
Yeah. So
like, you are one curmudgeonly motherfucker, Ginger Cool. I don't know.
Did you know that? Sorry, I was just reading through here. Did you know that the what's his name? Freddie Stroma played
his English
Dickon Tarley in Game of Thrones.
No, I remember him from Harry Potter though, when he was trying to like.
Yeah, I saw that too. Like, it's just, I didn't realize he played like he was in a Game of Thrones episode. Samuel Tarley's like brother.
Oh, that was him. Oh yeah, cool. So let's talk about this for tangent for a second. So Freddie Stroma was actually the second actor to play Vigilante. They had the original actor filmed for the first 5 episodes. James Gunn wasn't feeling it, got rid of him, hired Freddie Stroma.
And we don't know who it was.
We do. I can't remember, but
Eric Stoltz.
It was not Marty McFly. But the series is really interesting in that there's a lot of great second choices that flourished. Rooker wasn't the first choice to play Red St. Wild. They had another actor, and James Gunn wasn't feeling it, got rid of him, and then he's like, Rooker, I need a favor. Can you come play this Eagle Hunter?
Died in this universe once already, but
yeah. He does like killing Rooker in a lot of his movies, so
Yeah.
he's almost like his Sean Bean for that. And even John Cena was actually the second choice. Gunn originally wrote this for Dave Bautista, which I could not imagine. Yeah, I think Bautista has accomplished a lot as an actor. I think he's crap as a wrestler.
He's come a long way. I think John Cena is a far and away better performer and actor than Dave Bautista is, though, in the just different roles that they've been cast in.
I agree with that. But for this role in particular, John Cena is much better at humor, and I could not see Bautista playing this well. So I don't think he...
Interesting.
Yeah. But speaking of which, Paul, were you impressed by John Cena's evolution as an actor between season 1 and season 2?
He evolved?
Yes.
I would say so. I think it's not even close skill-wise. It's like some of the scenes he acted in season 2, he was not capable of season 1. So you do not agree?
I didn't notice. I'd have to, yeah.
There are a few scenes, like his scene on Earth X with Harcourt, their confrontation about the whole boat thing. I thought that was an amazing scene, partially how it was acted, but partially how it was shot.
Mm-hmm.
That scene where everyone is beating the shit out of Keith, and then he just has his traumatic flashbacks and just screams to get off him. I thought that was very powerful too. Carlos, you said that Cena is now the best wrestler turned actor. 100% agree with you. What did you think of his progress as an actor?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's like before, I don't think he would be able to emote those type of feelings or those emotions and things that we were supposed to get from scenes like the one you mentioned, like where he's confronting hardcore, right? It's hard. Yes. Where he's confronting her about what happened on the boat. Even when it's about him trying to like express to Adebayo how he doesn't feel loved or doesn't feel wanted or doesn't feel that he belongs in that earth, and that the other one, Earth X, was the one for him, and that's where he was going to go. That's another scene that to me it also hit me for that. And just being able to also kind of be there for when Harcourt makes a whole and like the admission that she does have some feelings for him and she's just a big wreck, and he's like, but I still love you. Just
right.
To be able to like be in that moment, and just it's a lovely scene, and it almost made me have some tears for a little bit. And
you can have tears, nothing wrong with that.
No, I understand. Thank you, Raymond. It's not my fault, but
it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
But I think maybe he's been able to get like some of the comedic ones, like the jitters or whatever. Like sometimes you get in these moods where you feel like you have to make a joke, and maybe he got them all out doing movies like Ricky Stenicki and those other ones. He's like, now I can just focus on being serious. So, but I see his progression, and I can't wait to see what else he's gonna do next. If it's gonna be another serious role,
Ricky Stenicki.
I like Ricky Stenicki, and it's not just because I have an acquaintance in the movie, but also the world-class air jerker thing is one of the best scenes. Reminds me of our president doing the world-class air jerking. I mean, Mac, did you notice any progress in Cena as a dramatic actor?
It's funny, like along the way, yes, but I don't think I noticed or really gave it much thought. But when you asked it, prior to us coming on the show to do it, totally, like he's come a long way, I think, just in general, right? Just from
for sure,
like,
absolutely.
and I find Cena in that same category as I find a handful of actors that like almost everything he's in, good or bad, is still watchable to me. Right? Like I still want to see what he's doing, and like even if it's a bad movie, I probably sit through it just to see. So everything that he's done, like to me, is entertaining enough. Like The Rock, like Ryan Reynolds, like in that category of actors that like the movies that they're in may not be like, it's like Ryan Reynolds in the movie Waiting, right? Or what's the other one? What's the one where he's the fat guy?
Just Friends.
Just Friends. Like those movies are like super like not great, but just because they're in them, it's enough for me to like enjoy and watch it.
But Ryan Reynolds is your favorite.
How dare you, sir?
Yes. We have a question.
Ryan Reynolds is my favorite.
Do you think we will get a season 3, or is that leading to a Justice League movie because they play Peacemaker's trap said to be created by Darkseid? Sanov, we will be addressing this very shortly. But really quickly, I do not think there will be a season 3, and we will get into why a bit later. But yeah, I mean, to me, Cena was always great at humor. As a badass, he can be hit or miss. When he was trying to be a badass in the Fast and Furious movies, I don't think it worked. I think it was a lot better when they turned his character face and he was more goofy and leaned into his comedic skills.
Yeah.
And Carlos, I think, is familiar with Cena as I don't mean on a personal level, but the kind of person he is. He has a great work ethic. He wasn't always a good wrestler, but he worked hard to have good matches and got better at it. He taught himself piano, partially to keep his mind sharp. That was actually him playing Home Sweet Home in season 1.
Yeah.
He taught himself Chinese just to do better business over in China. So he learned Mandarin for that. And his stuff with Make-A-Wish. I mean, the guy has a tremendous work ethic, and I think he put that into improving himself as an actor. And to me, I thought the Cena from season 2 is considerably better than season 1. And I'd go far as to say that he's blowing The Rock away. He's blowing The Rock. No, not that. He is blowing The Rock away in terms of acting talent. I'm going to talk to Carlos about this later, but I watched The Rock's latest movie, and people were talking about, he might get Oscar nominations. And I'm like, what the fuck movie did you watch? I mean, he's wearing prosthetics and he's bigger.
Like,
still The Rock.
How I feel about that movie Friendship and Tim Robinson's comedy.
Oh,
like I thought that movie was just like everybody's like so gung ho about it. I watched it. I had to turn it off.
I like that movie, but it's very weird. But I like weird things. But let's talk about characters that were underutilized or maybe overlooked. For me, it's Sasha Bordeaux for a few reasons. I love the character in the comics. For those of you not familiar with her, she was Batman's bodyguard turned love interest who eventually became a cyborg, and I think the second in command to Maxwell Lord in Checkmate. And the actor is wonderful for several reasons. Whenever she's on screen, she has this presence, especially when she's walking. She has this strut, and she looks so cool doing it. But I also like that she's so short that she makes Jennifer Holland look tall in their scenes together. And when she's standing next to Steve Agee, who's 6'6", it just looks really silly and ridiculous. So
she looks like a little person.
She does look like a little person next to a 6'6" man, as most of us.
I look like a little person next to a 6'6" man. Though, so.
You mean next to Hagrid, as he was called? But yeah, I wish we saw more of her. Hopefully, we see more of her in future Checkmate projects. Carlos, who do you think was overlooked or underutilized?
Titties. No.
The character or in general?
You should just end the show right now. That would have been perfect. Like just
what did you want to see more of? Titties. Okay.
Just end credits.
No, underutilized. I think you can I could pick a couple of people from there, but you already said Sasha.
You can say Sasha too. There's
Nah,
nothing wrong with that.
a vigilante, just a little bit more. We did get him towards like the end, but
Yeah,
just
first half was very
it just
light.
seems weird that he. It just seems weird that he went back to his job. What is he like? Buffet guy or
He was a
a cook?
busboy.
Or
He was a
busboy?
busboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
what
would
was
just
the
seem that.
restaurant called? It was like some fennel or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So just to like to see what he like, I know
Just a
he's
glimpse
just
into his home
working
life
this
was kinda
busboy
funny.
job, but yeah, it just seems like he wouldn't want to go back. Like he would have been patrolling. So they probably should have shown him patrolling, like taking down these drug lords that we end up, or these trafficking things that he ends up getting this big cachet of money that's blood money that he
Can we
doesn't
just
want to
focus
use.
for a second exactly on that, which is the fact that he just keeps truckloads of cash, weapons, and cocaine in his mom's garage. Like that was so good. That was such a good twist to me that they fit like his whole secret lair hideout is just a door pass
But it's
through
blood
into-
money.
Yeah. So that's what I would have liked to have seen. Like him actually still, he knows that he's gonna be needed, so he's still working and refining his,
I want to know why he
superhero-ish
hates his mom so much.
I don't
They
know.
alluded to there was something there, but I want to know what that is. But then it goes back to like the whole, for me, it goes back to the whole like, you know, when what was the Apple TV show with Jason Sudeikis, the soccer one?
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, thank
Yeah.
you. It, like they, you know, I don't want them to do a Ted Lasso where they give us a whole episode on Coach Beard, because the best thing about Coach Beard was what you didn't know, right?
I
Like,
love that episode.
So I'm glad that like they didn't do that, you know, with
It reminds me, like, sometimes I wish I was more patient and nicer to my mom, even though I very much love her. I never said like what Adrian said, which was probably my second favorite line of the show, when he was like, maybe if you gave each other cunnilingus, you can call her Lee too. Like that was so funny. And
my favorite Adrian moment from season 2 though is where they're having like a heartfelt conversation about, I think it was at a bio. It might have been Harcourt and Adrian though. And she's like, Adrian, how many people have you killed? And he goes like, he's in a total serious moment, and he just kind of starts laughing. And he goes, I don't know, like, how many is a fuckload? Like, or whatever, you know, how many is a fuck ton or something like that. He just couldn't put a number on how many people he's killed, and it just amused him. Like, it's just a casual laugh.
I liked when Ads asked him, what part of you thinks you're the good guy in this? Like, all parts of me. Like the way he said it. It was just very innocent and very much a vigilante.
Yeah,
way to
I like him. He's a fun character.
Paul, who did you think was underused in season 2, or who did you want to see more of?
Well, first of all, I think it's very funny that you guys keep calling him Vigilante, because it sounds like this Godzilla character in Biolante, and I just imagine a giant Adrian like crushing Tokyo. I really liked Peacemaker's brother, played by David Denman, and I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about him. Like, we never really got to know what made him like who he like, what was unique about him, especially in light of his dad, and then in light of the revelations about their world. Like, you know, you kind of find out that like his dad is not down with the whole Nazi thing, but like, is the brother? I have no idea. They didn't really do much with him.
Okay.
It was they
Yeah.
kind of left it like
implied that
as
he
like
was.
a main daddy for like a season 3. Is like he's gonna come back with a vengeance, but like
maybe. I mean, you really didn't get to see much of what he was all about until the very sort of end, when he wanted to beat the hell out of Peacemaker, and his dad's like, no, like, you know, they're that conflict.
Well, wait. He also was running after Adebayo with the rest of the lynch mob, so I think it implied that he was, you know, not a good guy.
Yeah, but we didn't really. I mean, I guess in that moment we didn't know why he was doing. Like, is he doing it because that's what you're supposed to do, and he's supposed to do that, or like?
No, his father chided him for that and said specifically, "That's not what we do."
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just, yeah, I wanted to see more of him, see what made him tick, and
Well, he was engaged to this woman named Pam, I believe, and I think that's his
Raymond.
storyline. But then Pam
But-
married James Gunn instead. But yeah, I think James Gunn said it kind of sets up an origin story for him. But since there may or may not be a season 3, which we will touch on later, I like that possibility. And
Raymond,
David Denman said this role actually saved his life because he said he was grotesquely out of shape and he got offered this role and was told to get in shape. So he lost like something like 70 pounds or something like that for this role. So good for him. And I enjoyed his performance as well. I thought he was
Captain
very
Triumph.
good. Yes. Captain Triumph.
Raymond, I wanted to go on a tangent because I think
Yes.
you're the only one that I could talk to you about this. Now, on Earth X, the vigilantes, both of them, say that their favorite Pokemon is Infernape.
Yes. Which is weird.
Now, if the
Infernape sucks.
Well, besides that, it just found it weird that Earth X Vigilante's favorite Pokemon would be Infernape, mainly because I don't think that the Pokemon series would exist on that Earth.
It would be called something different, like Pokemon or something like that.
Well, how do you know it over there? Maybe it is Pokemans.
Yeah, I don't care how many Pokemans. You got them all.
Because while you were learning about Pokemans, I had 2 gorgeous. Oh. See, that's when Flurry was still the antagonist.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But I don't, maybe America's just racist. I don't know if the Nazis took over Japan in that world too. It might be harder because it is a nation of islands. I don't know. Or maybe their white people invented Pokemon as well.
Ooh, okay.
Could be. So as I mentioned way earlier, the finale is the lowest rated episode of Peacemaker by quite a margin. And even if you look at season 2, it's all pretty highly rated, somewhere between 85 and 100 from episodes 1 to 7. And the finale, last time I looked, was like a 53. So,
Oof.
yeah. Paul, what did you not like about the finale?
it seemed rushed. Like he gets out of jail and then they immediately go into this whole thing with like they're starting this company and this and that, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's still in trouble. Like he's not off the hook here. And then they were like, oh, and then they grab him and throw him in this other world, and they're like, all right, you're gone, bye.
Yeah,
it just seemed like they were trying to pack too much in. Like they needed another
2 episodes.
Yeah, I don't know. They needed to do something different. It seemed like they ran out of room, ran out of road. Also, this is like a pet peeve of mine. I really don't like it when they bring the theme song from a show back in the show and have the band. Like I didn't like that song anyway. So but having that whole scene where that was weird. And I also don't like Nelson. So having Nelson
but they did that in season 1 as well.
And I didn't like it then. And I know you guys talk about James Gunn's musical taste. I think he has terrible musical taste, and I hate how he uses music. I don't know. Bring back Nelson. Nelson were a joke back in the 80s when they were the hot shit.
That's why it's funny. I don't think he did that on a serious note.
No, I think it's both. I mean, oddly, even after when did they hit big? Was it late 80s or early? I think it was late 80s, right?
80s.
Yeah, they were fourth tier hair
band.
But in Europe, they were oddly popular in the 90s, which I find bizarre. I don't know why, but a lot of James Gunn's musical tastes were from, what was popular in Scandinavia in the 90s. I don't know why that is.
Huh.
That explains the Hanoi Rocks thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when most people, I don't even know if most people know who Hanoi Rocks is now. And if they did, it's because of Vince Neil killing Razzle in a drunk driving accident. Razzle was a drummer in Hanoi Rocks, for those of you who don't know.
Hmm.
But they were kind of like the precursor to glam before glam like made it big in the 80s. And then Vince Neil like ruined that. Although I heard they still perform together, which is kind of cool. So good for them. Mac, what did you not like about the finale? And there's certainly a lot not to like.
Yeah, I think, everything you guys hit on is in that wheelhouse. And I think the problem for me was not being as hardcore of a DC Comics fan and not having like the depth of knowledge that kind of you guys have. Like I don't really know what to think of them throwing Peacemaker into what's the world called?
Salvation.
Like, and I'm sure that you guys are aware of there's some kind of, tie to the comic books and all that stuff. Like you guys have context that I don't have. So I guess like I just did, like I understood the episode as a whole.
But it didn't mean something.
Yeah, I just don't have the depth, like the meaning and the depth, and like, well, oh, what does this really mean? Like, is this? And maybe I would have appreciated it more if I did. But
I think so, because as a comics nerd, I love that they set up Checkmate. But does that mean anything?
What is Checkmate? Like,
so Checkmate was a spin-off in the comics anyway. It was like a subdivision of Argus, and it was also run by Amanda Waller at the time. And yeah, it kind of eventually it gets taken over by Maxwell Lord, who's played by Sean Gunn in this DCU. And Max Lord does a big heel turn. And then it gets kind of weird with Sasha Bordeaux does play an important part in that, though.
Yeah, that was another one. Like, is she a cyborg or is she a metahuman?
They count cyborgs as metahumans in DC. It's not just natural powers; it's all enhanced means.
Okay.
So yeah, they didn't do a lot with their cyborg stuff.
There were things that I just didn't like kind of get that I think would have made it more fun for me as a viewer.
That's fair.
And not knowing what I didn't know, I just kind of tried to enjoy it for what it was. But again, I always know that I get to come talk to you guys and figure out all the things that I don't know, and that makes it more interesting for me to go back and rewatch a second time.
Right, but I think a lot of people probably felt like you did because they're not necessarily comics nerds, so a lot of this stuff probably fell flat for them, like Salvation and Checkmate.
Like Salvation's a real place in the comics already. Like you said, somebody said earlier, like Darkseid tried to created it. Like I don't know any of that, so that
there's a comic book run called Salvation Run is this comic that leads up to Infinite Crisis, which I really enjoyed because it's basically like what are those movies like Hunger Games and what's the one from Japan? That
Battle Royale.
So this Salvation Run, they basically put all these villains on a planet and they all divide up into factions, partially trying to escape, but also trying to mess each other up at the same time. So that's what Salvation Run becomes. And it sets up Deadshot plays a big part in it, who was ruined by Will Smith in that crappier Suicide Squad movie.
But I think they might try to get Idris Elba's character in the Idris Elba. I think James Gunn mentioned that he wanted to bring him back.
I'm never gonna see him again and not think Idris Elbows.
I call him that sometimes too.
That's right.
What was his character? His name in the Suicide Squad again? I liked him in that.
He was like Hitman or something like that, or
no.
He was
Tony Stank,
not Deadshot. Yeah, Deadpool.
No,
Carlos, the finale. What were your problems with it, or did you like it?
I did not like it. I did like the beginning of it, where they're going to the alternate universes type of thing. But it seemed rushed, like we've all mentioned. When they finally get Chris out, I think I just maybe looked away briefly, or maybe I kind of fell asleep for a little bit. But it seemed like it was like a dream sequence. Like it didn't seem real the way that they were going through it. They convinced Adrian that it's not blood money to use the money, and they just went through everything so fast
Although I kind of like
to
that
go
aspect
checkmate.
in particular, the way ads can manipulate Adrian, like she
Oh
did in
yeah,
season 1 to try to get him to kill his father, and also shows that she is her mother's daughter.
she understands
So,
everybody. Yeah,
yeah,
she
Mm.
she is a Waller deep
she is
down,
a
no
Waller.
matter what it Adebayo. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
just that, and then go ahead.
to me, you had two of the best scenes in the entire series with Danielle Brooks. Her breaking up, Leota breaking up with Kia, and Leota, giving that pep talk to Chris. Those were just two amazing scenes, and they ruined it. They ruined the episode and the finale, partially because of what Paul said, that it was rushed, and partially my problems with how they did weird stuff with Rick Flag's characterization. That it just
that
didn't
was
make
going
sense.
back to the other question, like what characters would you have liked to see them do more with? And I felt like Frank Grillo was kind of wasted as Rick Flag Sr.
Yeah.
Would have liked to see more with him.
Although, well, we'll definitely see more of him because they are doing Creature Commandos season 2. So hopefully he can redeem himself in that. Let us pop up. We have Sanov asked us a question, you guys. What were your favorite episodes? And notice the British spelling, which is correct. Color should also have a U. Sanov loved episodes 1 and 4. Let's go clockwise. Mac, what do you got?
I'm trying to think. Whatever the episode was where Eagly fucked everybody up. I
2.
like that episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 2. Paul, favorite episode?
I didn't really have one, but I tend not to have favorite episodes of a TV show. So, but yeah, the E-League fucking shit up part was
Hilarious.
Yeah, because it sort of reminded me of when you're watching one of the Star Wars prequel and like all of a sudden Yoda just starts kicking Dooku's ass and you're like where the hell has this been the whole time?
So for me, and that's the funny part is I took it the other way because I was like, oh man, like there's nobody there to like protect. Somebody's gonna go get the bird. Eagly's fucked, and then Eagly's just fine and can totally take care of himself. I thought that was like the funniest kind of bit. Like he doesn't need Peacemaker at all.
See, the vibe I got from it was almost like this is like a fucked up Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love Berserk Yoda though, like that. I think every one of us will remember the first time we saw that movie and he started just doing ninja tricks and everybody was like, "What?"
He's like hobbling with his cane, then all of a sudden,
yeah, because that's the thing. He walks in and he's like using the cane, and then he's like, and he takes out his little lightsaber, and you're like, "Oh, that's cute." He's got a little lightsaber, and he's like bouncing off the goddamn walls, and you're like, "What the fuck was this?"
Yeah,
and it makes perfect sense.
You right. You're like, where was
that.
this in the first two? Like all the other movies, all we wanted was a sample, a taste of that, and nothing. So
he could have made the Clone Wars a lot shorter.
Yeah,
but no, because we needed to have how many seasons were there of the animated show? 7. Yeah. I do not have a favorite episode, but I do have favorite scenes that I keep watching again and again. One I mentioned was the walk and talk where you almost got titties killed. I mean, that I love the scene in episode 4 in the beginning in the truck where Judo Master's like, remember that time you hit my car with your truck and hit me from behind with a tire? And just the thing with Red Saint Wild and Judo Master talking where he was like, isn't that one of the place Chinamans come from? It's like, and the reply to that, are you the dumbest cunt in the world or just top 5? Like, it's such a good response.
Who plays him anyways? Judo Master.
Nully is a fine young actor. He's my favorite 5-foot male actor in the world. I don't know any other 5-foot male actors, but he's definitely tops for me.
Like Elijah Wood.
Is he that short?
No. I don't know if he's that short, but
I mean, I've met his brother several times. He's not that short, so if they're genetically similar. I love the scene with Judo Master and Ads when they're bonding on Earth X. I think that's really fun scene. Yeah. But Carlos, did you have a favorite episode?
I think the first one.
Okay.
just because we also get like Peacemaker going in for his interview to join the Justice Gang.
That's a good scene.
And then the one where I think it's 4, where Eagly's finally getting the best of Red Saint Wild.
Yes.
And he has like this motor type of cannon gun that he's shooting off at him, and then he ends up getting them at the end with the rest of his eagle and bird friends because he's the prime eagle.
He
So
is.
That was good. I like that. That was a cool ending that I didn't see coming.
I loved how silly that all was. That totally cracked me up. And our last topic actually addresses Sanoff's question. Do you think we will get a season 3 that is leading into a Justice League movie because the place Peacemaker is trapped is said to be created by Darkseid? Yes. So what Sanoff is referring to is that Salvation is actually a planet created by Darkseid to prepare Darkseid's parademons for invading Earth. So he made like an Earth type environment.
A holding
for
pocket.
that. Yeah. So that's kind of, presumably that's the monsters you hear at the end when Chris is trapped on Salvation. In interviews, James Gunn has kind of hinted that there will not be a season 3, but the Checkmate people will definitely be part of his future projects. They are doing a series, maybe it will be a Checkmate series, but they're doing something with Amanda Waller, which, I mean, how can you not? That's a great actor right there.
Yeah.
Checkmate will presumably pop up in Superman, Supergirl. Kind of like how Harcourt and Economos.
Checkmate's the name of the group that they formed at the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. They did have Harcourt and Economos show up in Shazam 2 and Black Adam. So maybe they're kind of going to use them in that kind of thing, or they'll pop up in every DCU movie. So James Gunn can hang out with his wife and one of his best friends.
Kind of like, was it the Agent Coulson from S.H.I.E.L.D. used to pop up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe
how the thread that binded everything together.
When I think of those POV characters, I always think of C-3PO and R2-D2, how they were, witnessing all the most important moments of the galaxy. Paul, what would you like to see for Peacemaker and the 11th Street Kids and Checkmate? How would you like them to be used?
I want Hardcore to get her shit together.
Yes. Looks that way.
Yeah. But I really want her to get her shit together. I want Leota to find love. I want Economos to stop being such a bitch and to realize that he has a strength, and I don't just mean a physical strength. And I want Adrian to stop being so abusive to his mom.
Yes.
His mom's very nice.
Seemed unnecessarily layered in.
I mean,
that seemed to me, it seemed appropriate for the character.
It seemed like they were 100% ripping off Will Ferrell's character from
Give Me the Meatloaf. We want it now.
Crashers. For no deliverable reason that would resurface anywhere in the show. They're not going to get into.
He is a sociopath, so he doesn't care about anyone else except Chris, really.
Or maybe he's just lashing out on his mom because his father turned out to be gay.
That was another favorite line on Earth. Yeah. Dad's not gay in this universe. That was so funny. Like he was getting such a kick out of all the little differences.
I love it. He's like, "Wait, you hate Peacemaker?" Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
But would you mind? I know you didn't like this season, Paul, but would you mind if these characters popped up in all of James Gunn's DCU projects?
I mean, Jennifer Holland's going to, because
because she needs work.
But I actually really like Jennifer Holland. Like one of the things I said after the first season was I thought that this was going to be a springboard for her to do other things. outside of the Gunn verse, and I still hope that for her. I know we'll see Danielle Brooks and other things, but I'd like to see her again.
Cena, of course, I think will be elevated. I think at this point he's a movie star, and I don't know if he has time for a series.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely like to see some of these people again.
You just don't like Steve Agee as much as I do.
I don't like that character. Like, the actor's good, and I've seen him in other things. Like, he had a recurring role on American Housewife, where he was also kind of this sad, pathetic guy. And I don't know why people keep casting him in that, because he looks like he should be best friends with Brian Posehn. Like, those two need to do like a sitcom together. Although I think Brian Posehn is going to be in the Big Bang Theory spinoff that they're doing for some weird reason.
We just sent him a bunch of stuff.
Random tangent. Steve Agee suffers from vertigo, so that scene in Earth X when his chair tips over and they're dragging him, he was having difficulty. Like, they had to work really hard to keep him as comfortable as possible. And even in between, when they're resetting shoots, Cena would be like, "Hey, can we get him up, please?" So I thought that was pretty cool. Cena's very considerate. Carlos, what do you want to see? What do you want to see the 11th Street Kid / Checkmate do next?
I think they're more. I think their mission is to be more of a counteract Argus, right? So I guess just to see them trying to do that, eventually they'll have to do that so they can find out where Chris is, where Peacemaker is, and how to get there. And so if we don't get a series on that, maybe we'll get a sprinkling. I don't see how we'll get it in Supergirl. Maybe we might get it because I heard that the rumor is the Supergirl movie is going to be more space-based.
Yes.
So maybe we'll get it because you're able to travel to, like we said, it's a Darkseid made that as a terraformed version of Earth. So maybe we'll get that, a little glimpse of that and how they can get to it that way. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be their next thing, is figuring out where Chris is, what happened to Chris, and how to get Chris back.
Maybe like a Checkmate series, or
I could probably see that more in a series.
I would like
that. But you'd have to start the first breadcrumb somewhere. So it probably had to be like in a movie. So people were like, "Oh wait, they're there," and then they were like, "I wonder what they're gonna do," and then you announce the series. And then as far as Peacemaker 3, I just don't think he has plans for it because he has other things he's trying to put forward now. James Gunn always likes to work with his scripts as he sees that there's something that he can film now or get written now. So maybe
that's the biggest difference between Gunn and the way MCU typically does things, is that he doesn't start shooting until his script's done, whereas Marvel does, and it gets them in trouble with reshoots more times and recasts. Yeah. And especially when your characters get accused of crimes, it kind of mess things up.
Yeah.
Mac, what do you want to see next for these cats?
Well, like I said, I felt season 2 was anticlimactic. I want some closure, right? So if James Gunn is ever watching and listening to this, it's a dick move to give us 2 seasons and then just throw Chris on a fucking planet and then shut the door and call it like, I don't know if we're gonna do season 3, right? Like, that's an asshole move. Like, you can't do that. So
I'm totally clipping that and sending it to James Gunn.
Yeah, it is. It's a dick move. You gotta like provide what the end is. Doesn't matter when, but at some point, like, who finds Chris? How far is it from when he got dropped off there? What's that like? What happens to him in Hardcore? Like, what happens? Does Adrian fucking self-destruct because Chris is gone for however long he's gone? He doesn't have his buddy. Like, I want answers to all those kind of things to kind of come to closure before I'm done mentally and deciding like I can walk away from Peacemaker satisfied.
All very fair.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I do hope we get a Checkmate series because I love this combination of characters. I want to see more of Tim Meadows as Flurry, like fully integrated into the gang, and see Sol Rodriguez utilized more because she is.
Would you want to
gorgeous
see
and a cool
Checkmate
character.
as a live action, like a spin-off live action, or would you rather it be some sort of kind of cool animated spin-off version, kind of like a Marvel Zombies style, or something different than just kind of like more live action?
I mean, we already have Creature Commandos, which
Yeah.
I really enjoyed, and I presume that some of these characters will be in Creature Commandos season 2. So I don't want to see a Checkmate animated series.
Okay.
Unless that's all the actors have time for. If it's
Right.
between that or nothing, then sure.
That's all we get.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like if they really need to get that storyline in to set up something that's happening in the Superman movie or something else.
Right.
I want to know who played Vigilante before Vigilante.
It's online. I just don't remember the actor's name, and there might be some NDAs involved as to the why, so that's why it's not talked about.
Chris Conrad.
So yeah, before we go, I just want to point out, Mac and Carlos, you guys are wearing some awesome T-shirts.
Indeed.
Where did you get them?
We got them
Somebody
on
sent
Amazon.
me I have friends every. You can't read it because the weird screen thing. But it says I have friends everywhere.
You're
with
blending in
RPad.
with the background.
And Carlos, what do you have?
I have
Lumpia. That's how you roll. Wow, you can find these shirts on Amazon.com by searching RPadTV.
And it comes in cool Rebel Orange.
Yes, in a variety of
you
colors.
get to choose your own colors.
Yeah, you can choose your own. I went with Rebel Orange just because of the times.
So on my camera, it looks more red on my monitor
It
than
does.
orange.
No, it's like popping like fluorescent bright orange, but it's showing up as red on camera.
Okay, that's interesting. So guys, go to turtlebeach.com and see what Mac's working on. Go to paulsemel.com for his excellent previews, reviews, interviews, and more. And check out Revisiting Mania for an excellent pro wrestling podcast, which will have a very special episode about the Smashing Machine very soon. Please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Thanks so much for joining us at RPadTV. Should I go fireworks or wait? I forgot what this one is. Because baby, you're
Does
a
the middle finger do
firework.
anything yet? Have we figured that out?
Fireworks.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.
Raymond, thanks.